How was I going to start it? I was trying to do an intro. I got to stop doing intros, y'all. We're not doing any more intros. Welcome to the podcast. You know where you are. You clicked on it. It's 5-5. And I've got a crazy theory. Okay, so if you don't know, hi, I'm Elena Rose Dumaine, and this is the Multidimensional Baddie podcast. Oh, I said it right. See, I always have to have like a weird, like, what am I, like, very type B, like, what am I doing? I'm leaning into my type B baddiness, by the way. I was like very type A for the majority of my life, and then I'm 36 now. Why? I don't want to. I'm in human years. I'm in a 9-year, and that just doesn't sound fun. So I've actually leaned into the fact that I think I've always been pretty type B, like, my entire life. I just got programmed to, like, have to be more type A, and I've been eating that. So I've got a crazy theory, and my crazy theory, if you don't know, I've had chronic pain now for since I was 18 years old. I had a car wreck. I saw an alien in the middle of the road. I saw another alien. That alien very gently stopped my car from spinning and guided me down a 5-foot embankment that was kind of steep into landing in a barbed wire fence, but very gently. Okay, it's like it was wild. I could feel the force field like around me, and I was just like, well, whatever happens, happens. Like, at some point I realized I was like, who the fuck is screaming? I'm in the car by myself, and I realized it was me. 9 Inch Nails was literally playing. It was, I mean, there was an aesthetic going, you guys, okay? But this car accident triggered chronic pain that was defined by the 7th doctor in a row that I visited at 19 as fibromyalgia, and they didn't really do anything for it. So anyways, I've spent the last, how many years is that?
18.
18?
If you're starting from 19 to 17.
Wow.
So half your life, basically.
Yeah. So I've spent a lot of years, doing all kinds of alternative healing treatments and research and things. Just pushed myself a lot and stuff. I've had periods where it was better. I've had periods where it was worse. So I have really been like, I've gone through the, that's kind of one of the things with, like, all of my expertise and experience. It's not just from my professional career. It's from the fact that literally at the age of 18, I was told that I wasn't going to fulfill any of my dreams and to just give up on basically my entire life. And I was like, you're stupid, go away. And decided to do none of that. So, I've explored, feeling the feelings and tuning into this and tuning into that. And I've tried all of the different healing modalities and all of this stuff. I've cast spells about it. Like, nothing sticks for very long, I've noticed. Even stuff that normally, I've used the same modality for something else and it's immediately worked and I've never had another issue. The physical pain, it's like I cannot release the physical pain. I have not been able to, I didn't want to finish that spell. I have not been able to yet figure out how to restore my physical vessel to not having pain. I have not been able to figure that out yet. So I started to think, what is the reason for this? Rather than trying to fix it, I started to think, why is it? Right? Because I started to think, well, people, and in like the chronic pain world, there's so many experts out there who are going to tell you it's your unfelt emotions, or it's your this, or it's your that, or it's your, whatever, right? And their $111 masterclass is going to fix you. Or their acupuncture session, or their therapy, or their this, or their, whatever. And nothing's worked. I've tried so much stuff. And so I started to think, what if I'm experiencing this for a reason, right? What if it's not about me needing to heal myself, but what if it's about me needing to figure out why I'm having the experience. Because if it was about having the experience of like healing or feeling or whatever, like I've done so much of this already. And so I started to tune into just like a different frequency about it. Like, what if it's messages? What if that car accident that I had happened to install the message coding, basically, and processing system? And what if I'm quite literally feeling the pain that this universe feels? That's the crazy thought that I started to have, was like, I think I am physically experiencing, my entire vessel hurts all the time. Okay? The whole thing. An average day for me is anywhere between a 5 and a 7. That's just the norm. That's actually my baseline. I'm a little bit higher today. I'd say I'm sitting at maybe like a 7.9 at this exact moment. But there's a lot going on multiversally right now. There's a lot going on connection-wise in this universe between this, other spaces in this universe and Earth. It's the 5-5 portal. And we got a new couch. I'll take it to the real world, too. I have a Capricorn stellium, and I have a Virgo moon, and the moon is in Virgo as of now. So we're going to take it to the practical place, too. We got a new couch, and I was on the couch all weekend. It's like, guys, we manifested a new couch. Okay, we manifested a new couch. We wanted a new couch. Our apartment came furnished when we leased it 8 months ago, and they randomly decided that they would just love nothing more than to change out our couch the other day. We had kind of complained about it a couple of times of like, could we possibly like switch out? Like we had asked, like we like have a new couch like this, but they hadn't said anything about it. Whatever. They run a ski shop as well. So we just finished ski season, and yeah, they got a new couch, brought our new couch over. It's so comfy. It's like the biggest couch I've ever had. It's even better than my couch from Texas, actually. So it's bigger. It's bigger. It's longer.
It's bold.
It's bolder. It's comfier. It's got a whole sectional piece, which I love. So like, yeah, I was sitting on the couch all weekend, and I was having my floor time. And when I sit on the yoga mat, which is what I'm doing right now, I'm sitting on the yoga mat. I process things on a much higher level than when I'm sitting in a chair or on a couch or in bed or wherever. I process things very quickly on the floor. So I started to think, and I can't even remember when I started to think this, but I just, some time ago, I started to think like, what if this was all messages? What if you could map a universe or a multiverse? I don't know. I don't really know what I'm experiencing, to tell you the truth. I'm just kind of like this is just, when you've been in enough pain for long enough, you'll start to come up with some wild ideas of like, well, I could go there. I mean, like if it'd make it better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm tired of my earlobes hurting. Why do my earlobes hurt? Like, this is ridiculous. But it's because what is actually hurting for me is the fascia. So and you have fascia all over your entire vessel, right? So all of my fascia is at the very least uncomfortable 24/7. Literally all of it. Like all of it. And there are parts that are less uncomfortable than others. And then there are parts that are more uncomfortable than others. But it all ends up being uncomfortable to ranging to being in, a pretty significant amount of pain. Constantly. I've lived like this for 17 years now. Constantly, right? So I started to I've really been tuning into like connecting various I started to notice I felt like there were a lot of disconnected parts of my body, right? I don't like the word body. So that's why I call it a vessel. And there's also some weird coding on the word body. The word embodiment, the word pleasure, they all have some weird fucking codes on them when you say them out loud. So maybe just see if that feels aligned for you. See, the words feel good, weird codes on them. There's some weird kind of fucking linguistic spells on some of the stuff that we're saying on a daily basis. And I also think that's why some people's work isn't selling very well, because they're literally using virus rampant based coded words. and then wondering why nobody feels good hitting purchase. And it's because you just said that. That does not, there's something. I have a splenic authority, so I literally feel repulsed and vomitous when I come into contact with icky magic. And there's weird fucking magic on a bunch of the words that are currently being heavily circulated in the spiritual realms, that are currently being heavily circulated in the marketing realms, and that people are trying to code into being the norm in reality. BT dubs. So when you say certain words out loud, and I would say tune into what your authority is in human design, see how you feel about it. Michael, could you possibly say the word embodiment for me and then let me know how you feel? Michael's an emotional authority. So I want you to say the word embodiment and then feel what emotions, what energy is in motion, present within you when you say that word. Okay.
Embodiment.
Okay. What did you feel?
Felt like a weird feeling, like it was a weird energy that was rolling down from the back of my skull to my throat.
Interesting. I picked it up in my sacral chakra. So now can you say body?
Body.
Okay. What'd you feel that time?
It's weird.
So while he's while he's processing how to tell you that, I'm going to tell you that I felt a pinch in my solar plexus rolling down to my sacral chakra.
I thought it was around my heart.
So yours seems to be a couple steps above where I tend to experience things. Now that's interesting because he's an emotional authority and I'm a splenic authority, right? Could you possibly say feels good?
Feels good.
How was that for you?
That was in my sacral chakra.
Yeah. Did it feel good?
No.
Right? So these are some simple tests that you can start to do in just anytime you come across something. If you've ever had a word that you felt weird about using, but other people used a lot, I want you to actually just maybe run these it's like coding tests with yourself and just say the words out loud and then just tune into what your authority is. If you're a sacral authority, so that would be your gut response to something, right? Tune into that human design authority and see if that correlates for you, because that does seem to be working for both of us, I would say. But I also wonder if there's a connection, if there's any other emotional authorities out there or splenic authorities out there who feel those code tests in the same chakras. Do it for the research, okay? And if you're not either of these authorities and you do this research, please come let us know how it works out for you and which are you, or if you find other words that you're finding weird coding, and pay attention to where, literally physically scan your vessel. I'm not going to say the B word. I'm not going to fucking do it. Emvesselment. Oh yeah. I've got a new word. I don't want to be embodied. I want to be envesseled. Ooh, that's sexy. Oh, that felt literally, I felt an activation in my sacral chakra. That felt sexy to me.
Hey.
Embodiment. Bleh. I can't do it. I literally, it's like I feel like I want to vomit from my solar plexus when I say that. But when I say emvesselment, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in a vessel. I'm a baddie bitch, right? Completely different frequency. Stop letting the old paradigm programming of language make you say words that feel gross to you, thereby casting gross spells and implanting gross frequencies into your energetic processing centers, aka your chakras. And we do the vessel scan to see where you're feeling it, because if you're feeling it in your head, it's probably connected to your third eye. If you're feeling it in your throat, it's probably connected to your throat. If you're feeling it in your butt or in your lower back, that would be root or sacral chakra. So this is why the chakra systems are so important, to have that knowledge so that you know where that ping is happening. And then you can also extrapolate the coding that's telling you, because if you know what each of those chakras or energetic processing centers process, because they each process a set of codes. They all process different coding. They build on each other, they're connected, but they all process different coding. It's like a printer versus a scanner versus a fax machine versus a phone versus an iPod shuffle versus a smart TV versus a radio tower. There's your chakras. Was it 7? I think it might have been. I think I did 7. I'm not sure. Yeah. So we look at where, and this is my favorite word, acknowledgement. This is what the core of acknowledgement is. It's acknowledging, no, that word makes me feel fucking nasty and I'm not going to say it anymore. I don't give a shit who's saying it. I don't care how good they say it is for you to say embodiment. That entire sentence, like I literally was like physically like turning in on myself saying that. I'm in a vessel. Ooh, that sounds fun. I'm embezzled. How do I work with my vessel as a multidimensional baddie experiencing embezzlement? Ooh. See, like, I've opened my heart chakra now. I'm like, yeah, I'm a baddie. I exist across all space and time. I got a vessel. How do I work this thing? What do I do? How do I use this? How does this thing function? I need to read the owner's manual of this vessel, y'all, okay? Like, that's what I'm saying. This is the difference in cosmic embezzlement versus human embodiment.
I just feel clear saying
embezzlement. I'm having an embezzled experience. Ooh! Stick that in your chat GPT and smoke it. That's mine. You use it and I'm going to be mad. Embezzled experience. Hi, I'm having an embezzled experience. That's my string of words. I've claimed it. I'm sticking my flag in it right now. Embezzled experience.
Hey.
But you can use the word embezzlement. That's fabulous. Everybody can use that. That's great. We're having an embezzled experience. The embezzled experience. Ooh.
Hey.
This sounds like some multidimensional movement and Andromedan love codes wrapped into one. You know, get a little Lyran cosmic cat people party vibes going on as well, you know. A little Yaz flute. I don't know, it's 5/5. We're getting weird up in here. The moon's going to be in Lyra. The moon's going to be... No, I said what I said. The moon's going to be in Libra, in the librarians. I don't know. The moon. I think I cough every time I tell a lie. I do know. I said what I said for a reason. I just might not remember what that reason is right now. See, I didn't cough. So I think my pain is stemming from these misfiring codes or these disconnected places, something, I don't know. I need nerds that have different specialties than me for this, but that's why I'm here to like activate. You know what I mean? I'm a multidimensional reconnection specialist. That's what I do. I just like throw words at people and I'm like, wake up! I didn't say, but look at what I just said. You're always leaving yourself breadcrumb trails and clues and stuff, right? I literally just said it because I've been saying for years, like, guys, it's just like I'm awake. It's like I woke up early and I started the coffee pot and I made some bacon. And I loaded some fresh bowls. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bacon and bowls. Not to be confused with eggs and bakey bowls. That's a different type of bowl. 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 So, I've also noticed higher levels of physical pain on days when like a bunch of stuff is coming online. So I've wondered if I'm like literally like, if we could map, I don't know, something, and then overlay it with the vessel. And then I can, like, there, like, right now, like, there's this weird little area around my belly button that's kind of just, like, cramping. It's just having a little, like, literally feels like I'm wearing a TINS unit on my stomach right now. For no reason. I don't know why. I have not been glutened. I'm feeling fine. I'm in a lot of pain, like I said, but I haven't eaten anything particularly inflammatory lately. I realized the Dr. Pepper does kind of make me a little bit more inflamed than, like Ollie Pops. So I had a couple of Dr. Peppers because Dr. Pepper, according to Dr. Pepper, is gluten. It does not contain gluten, and it's safe for celiacs, is what the internet told me as of a couple of weeks ago. That can always change, but and I was really craving Dr. Pepper, so I had some Dr. Pepper, and it did inflame me a little bit though. But I haven't had any Dr. Pepper. I'll call it out if I have. I'm always trying to debunk some shit, okay? Like, I am always ready to debunk some shit. Because then, when I can't debunk the shit, it's even better, actually. So, it's been a funky day. We've got a lot of new connections coming on. We're going to hit the bong real quick, because I want to. So, everyone get your bong or your drink or whatever you want. We're gonna have a little bong hit here. We're gonna stretch. It all is like right now, it all seems very connected to, I mean, I'm just gonna try this theory. I feel like it's all connected to the sacral and solar plexus, which would indicate coding coming back online between Rigel and Antares. And then going down into Pleiades, because Pleiades is root chakra of the universe, the root chakra, energetic processing center of this universe, Pleiades, or of this little pocket of this area of, yes. And then sacral processing centers, Antares, and then solar plexus processing center, Rigel. Andromeda is the heart, Pegasus the throat, Arcturus third eye, Sirius crown. Aldebaran's soul star. Mm-hmm. Who's Earth star? Earth. Then, and the Earth star, and this alignment changes. Like, for example, if you were on the Terra location of Rigel, this system would work differently. So a lot of the stuff that we're talking about right now, it's like we know the system, we know the concept, we know the processes, but when you get onto the planetary location, it's like insert system here. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to know, a lot of this stuff it also functions off of the concept of archetypes, right? You could go into like the archetypes, and I have read a lot of Jung and stuff, and talking about, the archetypes, as well as, you did a lot of work with alchemy. He was really into this concept of spiritual alchemy, and that was a huge focus of his work, was alchemy and archetypes. Anyways. So you could ascribe archetypes to this stuff. I just personally find that a lot of, like, the archetypes that are prevalent at this moment in time on Earth, I just don't vibe with. We need cosmic archetypes. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I was going to do this. It was, what was I going to call it? It's probably written in my Remarkable somewhere. But basically, it was like the different archetypes of the multidimensional baddie. Multidimensional baddie archetypes coming to Witchery U near you. I said that right. I can't believe I did that. That was really cool. Go me! Yay! So, did we hit the bong about it? We didn't. We gotta hit the bong about it. See? All right. It's closer to 4:20 now. It's 4:15. Anyway, so here we go. Have a little cheers, everybody. Cheers. Woo! Bad coding on that word too. 1 DCC. As some of my multidimensional friends always say. And then, we've been talking a lot today about these different regions and frequencies and things that have been offline and then coming back online. And that's something that I think a lot of people... Oh, well, and here, let's talk about this real quick, too. So, I finally realized why so many people in the quote-unquote spiritual and then simultaneously in the business coaching spaces have annoyed the fuck out of me for so long. And that's because all the spiritual people, yeah, it's the same fucking idiots from Lemuria who caused a little meltdown over there. And then the people from the business coaching space, they're the same fucking idiots from Atlantis, caused a little meltdown over there. And then simultaneously, and this is the stuff that all the Lemurian dragon priestesses and all the Atlantean blah, 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 whatever, this is the shit they won't tell you. So there were these two fucking piles of idiots, right? And they were all being fucking idiots. And then simultaneously on the night that Atlantis and Lemuria fell, because it happened on the same night, boom, right? At the same time, something happened cosmically that was not good. Trademark. Okay? I'm joking. I don't own the trademark on that. Just so everybody knows, you don't even need to go Google. I'll tell you. The second I see somebody slap a trademark on something, I'm looking to see, like, is that really... No, it's not. It's really interesting what's going on. I think there's going to be some interesting stuff to watch with the law. As the immortal Holland Taylor would say in Legally Blonde, the law, in the next few years, because there's like, what's the point of, it's, what I read on the internet? I read on the internet, anybody can use the trademark symbol regardless of whether their trademark has been accepted or even rejected. If your trademark gets rejected by whatever, insert official office here, if your trademark gets rejected, you can still use the trademark. I'm like, what's the fucking point in paying them the $70? That's like mafia concepts. Fuck off! That's stupid. Like, what? I mean, you're just gonna, if that's the case, like, literally, what's the point in that? What is the point in even having a registry of trademarks if it means nothing? You know what I mean?
Right.
Insanity. Also, get this. Apparently, trademarks only cost $70 now. Many, many years ago, I looked into trademarking some things with Harvest Rose, and trademarks cost like $500 to $700 each back then. Yeah, it was crazy. And I was like, what the fuck? Nah. I don't know. Maybe I'm in a different timeline, but I remember looking up all kinds of things about trademarks and trademark law, and I had like a couple nights with, a little white wine spritzer situation, like putting my Elle Woods hat on, like, let me just read up on this, I read up on all kinds of stuff,
That's fabulous.
Yeah. I mean, I had things I needed to know. I was doing business here. Do you mind? Yeah, I was like, what's the fucking point? Anyways, so that was my little fun fact for, I can't even remember how I got down this rabbit hole this morning, but I was like, I read that. I was like, on the internet, it was just like right there. Can you still use TM if your trademark application has been rejected? Yes. I was like, what? Okay.
That doesn't make sense if it's rejected.
Right? Anyways, so, I don't remember what I was saying now.
Different universe points.
Yeah. 5-5. So we've got a lot of stuff integrating at the moment. We had we had 6 hours of moon void, of course, today. And moon void, of course, is a period of time where basically the universal alchemists utilize the lack of directed singular broadcast frequency to impact a variety of situations very quickly. It's a portal. Basically, every time the moon goes void, of course, we have a portal. That's what happens. And I'm a portal specialist, so one of the things I do. So I'm typically very active when the moon is void, of course. So we have a portal. So when the moon's in a specific sign, we're broadcasting a specific frequency. And you can read more about that with my work in cosmic astrology. And we have some foundational information about all of this in Witchery U, which you can join for free at the link in the description. And you can learn more about that. And it was like a year ago that we started tracking the moon signs. Because when I first started channeling and curating the cosmic astrology system, it was just the sun signs. They gave me just the sun because they didn't want to overwhelm me. So they gave me just the sun signs, and we anchored in how these frequency ranges were being broadcast via each of the signs, utilizing just the solar energy. And then last year in May, we started with the lunar, which is, a lot more because we have 13 frequencies in a month as opposed to 1 or 2. Aquarius has 2 frequency ranges, both the avian / angelic, which are the same family with a different last name. Same family, different last name. Okay. And then we have Sirius also broadcast with that. A lot of this also is, this is a connection system. This is how we connect. This is how we're connecting Earth with its multidimensional neighbors and the frequency ranges that are aligned with Earth's frequency range. So there are other frequency ranges out and about, wherever, right? I only deal in magic. That's my specialty across space and time is magic, right? So I deal in magic, and if a frequency range does not contain magic, I'm not interested. It's just kind of like, that's not my specialty. I might want to hang out with you, and I might want to talk to you, but you know what? If you hang out and talk to me, you're going to walk away with a little magic, honey. You know what I mean? But like the ones that are, I deal in source, frequency ranges that are source coded in magic. So that's what I do. And so there are other frequency ranges out there. And those other frequency ranges do come to Earth. They do have overlaps with Earth. There were 13 seed frequency ranges of Earth, and all of those contained magic. So you may understand what would happen to a planet that was source coded exclusively to magic, that had magic systematically removed from it. It would die. And the heater agrees. The heater literally clicked when I said that. The planet would die. The planet would self-destruct. The planet would, technically the planet wouldn't die. If a planet was source coded exclusively with magic, the planet would also have what's called Phoenix source coding, which originates from hydrogen regeneration technology, which would basically initiate a self-destruction and regeneration process for the planet. That's what would happen if a planet was source coded to magic. Now, if a planet was not source coded to magic, I don't know what would happen. To be perfectly honest, you'd need to ask another architect because that's not my area of expertise. I just work here. I'm not that kind of doctor, okay? There's a difference between an MD and a PhD, and there's a difference between a neurologist and a cardiologist, right? And an orthopedist is different than an orthodontist. And none of those are your gynecologist. Okay. So.
Who's the podiatrist?
And if you ask the psychiatrist to come in and do something with the physical, bloody medicine stuff, they're like, ew. I used to work with a bunch of psychiatrists on the concept of like going and working in the main hospital. They were like, eh. I'm like, no, that is not what I do. We don't do that here, people. It was funny too, because we had one of the hospitals that I worked for, we had a psychiatrist who had worked in the ER, I think while he was in med school, or maybe while he was going to college. I think one of them had been a tech. I think it might have been him. He was like an ER tech or something while he was like while he was getting his like bachelor's or master's or something. You know, he was like already working in a hospital before he even started doing like his residency or anything. And he was really cool. He was such a cool doctor. He was my favorite psychiatrist I've ever known. And then I had a nurse practitioner that, funnily enough, he had also worked at a hospital that I had worked for as well before he became my nurse practitioner. And he was really cool too. And I now realize I totally knew him from Aldebaran, which makes so much sense. He was so cool. And I'd walk in and he'd be like, okay, how are you doing? And I'd be like, well, I got in a bar fight last night. And he'd be like, astrally. And I'd be like, yeah. He was fabulous. Oh my God, he was fucking fabulous. If you ever need a nurse practitioner, and I think he's still in DFW, just reach out to me and let me know. He was a psychiatric nurse practitioner and he was fabulous. He was really, really, really amazing. And I would absolutely recommend him. He was great. I could walk in and tell him anything and he'd just be like, okay. And how are you sleeping? Like, he's like, oh, I just heard him on the astral plane. He's like, oh, we knew each other in Sirius too. Like, cause he'd just be like, So is that affecting your appetite, would you say? Do you want to do something about that or not yet? He was just like, he was just the coolest dude ever. He had been like he was a personal trainer before he became a psychiatric nurse practitioner. And he was really iconic too, because he actually left an old, well-established psychiatric practice in Dallas. That was how I met him. He left them because he was like, he straight up told me, he was like, they had business practices I did not agree with. They were doing shady shit behind the scenes to their patients. I could not do that. I could not be a part of that. So I have left because I needed a refill. And he was like, I had to leave. And he was like, but he was getting, because he had to have an MD to practice under, basically. Like a psychiatrist to practice under. That's how NP laws worked in Texas. So he had left that practice and he was basically the psychiatrist he was working with was writing interim prescriptions for his patients so that his patients didn't go off their fucking psych meds because he had to get his licensing taken care of anyways. And he was like, I had to take care of my patients. And he did. His office he got an interim one like as quickly as possible so that he could take care of his patients. He took a huge pay. He was like, I don't give a fuck how much money I lose. He literally said that to me. He was like, I didn't give a fuck how much money I lose. I couldn't do this to people. I could not be a part of this. It was so awesome. He was really fabulous. And he created this cute little office that was very relaxing. It was just him and another guy, but they alternated being in there so that their patients wouldn't overlap. It was quiet. It wasn't activating to your nervous system. If he said he was going to be there at 2:20, he was, or he would send you a message saying, I'm running 3 minutes late because he didn't stay in the office 24/7. He was actually out doing stuff a lot of the time that was not being in the office. But when he said he was going to be there for his patients, he fucking was. It was amazing because he wasn't trying to run 5 million things all at once. It was really, really, really cool. Yeah. So don't accept anything less, by the way, if you ever find yourself requiring the assistance of a qualified mental health practitioner. If they don't treat you, if they don't come correct, you don't fucking pay them. You're paying them. Who the fuck are they to treat you like that? You're paying them. You know what I mean? If somebody at a restaurant treated you the way that your average doctor treats you, would you leave them a tip? Would you even fucking pay for your meal? No, you'd throw a BF and you'd get your shit comped. You absolutely would not leave a tip. And you'd never go back there and you'd leave a horrible Yelp review and they'd go out of business in 6 months. If that's the standard that we held health practitioners to, we would live in a different reality. Okay? And it all starts with us. So we just don't accept any bullshit. This is your permission slip. I dealt with so many doctors when I was literally 19 years old telling me I was making shit up. I didn't know what I was talking about. I was just doing it for the attention. Like, no, honey, I'm trying to complete a theater degree. If I was doing it for the attention, I'd be on a goddamn stage. I wouldn't be sitting in your dusty ass office. It's called color. Have you ever heard of it? No. This is depressing. You didn't even offer me a beverage when I came in. Like, how dare you? And then you're going to charge me fucking $300, what, to see your dusty ass? I don't think so! No! We had good health insurance back then, and it was still like $50 for every visit that I went to. From physical therapists to specialists to like, it was so much money when I was 19 years old. Just to try to get me like functional again. And did you hear what I just said? I said we had hella good health insurance. What the fuck? You know, it's crazy. It's just wild.
That's insane.
That was in 2008. By the way, for context, I don't care if you know how old I am. I said it earlier. I'm 36. I don't give a shit. That was in 2008. You know? Craziness.
Yeah.
I'm feeling so much less pain as I'm recording this episode. Yay!
Yeah.
I had to take the weekend off. I was very tired. I did not have the energy to do anything because it's been portals on portals on portals. And then we did 3 Club Witchery live broadcasts last week for Walpurgis Nacht and Beltane, and then our normal stream on Friday. And it was fabulous. We had so much fun. But I was a little frequencied out afterwards. I had listened to so much music putting together everything. Oh my goodness, I had listened to so much music. And then we had done our inaugural Club Witchery stream. I went all out. We did 7 hours, and that was crazy. Hi, baby. Yes, Mira wants a huggy. I love you. Yes, I do. So we had done 7 hours, and that all happened in the span of 1 week. So like I started curating the playlist on Tuesday, and so from Tuesday to the next Friday, so a week and a half, I curated 13 and a half hours. Yeah. 13 and a half hours. I curated 13 and a half hours of music in a week and a half. And we did visuals and all of that. So you can go back. You can watch all of the streams on my YouTube, except for the main event, the first main event, because we got copyrighted.
I fixed it today.
Oh, but now it's available. So you can actually watch all of the streams. You can watch all of the streams as either videos that we've uploaded or the saved live streams on my YouTube. Harvest Rose Witchery. So, it was super fun. We've got Rigelian streams on there now. We've got the Walpurgis Nacht stream. We've got the Beltane stream. And then we've got, Cygnus
and Deneb.
Yeah, Cygnus and Deneb was last Friday. And then coming up this Friday, the moon's going to be giving the Lyran and vegan frequencies. So I'm super excited about that. I'm also super excited because I haven't curated a playlist for like 3 days now. I'm like, I'm ready to be back to it. 3 in a row was crazy, but I love Walpurgis Nacht. I love Beltane, and I really wanted to anchor those frequencies in. And it was so fun too, just getting to hang out with everybody 3 nights in a row, and we had so much fun. And it was really just fun. So it was totally worth it. As a manifester, though, like I will go hard. I'm gonna bring it if it's ready to be brought in, it's gonna happen. But then afterwards, I'm gonna need to face plant to the couch for 2 days and not speak to anyone and be brought coffee, and that's exactly what's happened. So yay. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun week. I'm excited. I'm about to start. We're doing some very fun audits. Oh yeah. On Witchery You. One of my interdimensional economic tips, by the way, is to make sure that what you're selling actually has an adequate value anchor. So, for example, this morning on the internet, I saw someone defending the quote unquote high price of their offer while simultaneously saying that even at this high price, it was still undervalued. Right? And what you never want to do is charge a price that feels undervalued, because that's just going to bring in people that don't value you. You know what I mean? So what you want to do is you want to have a value anchor for yourself. I'm going to be honest with you. Prices are arbitrary numbers that we make up and decide, yeah, that feels like a vibe, right? That sounds like a cosmic contract to me. That's all it is. And anybody who tells you that there is anything different to pricing is fucking lying. Okay, they're lying. They're just numbers that people make up based on their target market, aka what area of the market they want to play in with this offer. There really is no market value, especially for anything multidimensional or magical to be offered, because I've seen people literally offering a single candle spell at every price from $5 to $5,000 per spell. Okay, I have seen this actual range over the course of the last 10 years. I've seen this. Or I've had clients that told me about it, and I've seen it. I've seen it out in the wild. I have seen some crazy stuff. And you could have any number that you wanted, really about for anything. So it's really about establishing what feels of an equal value for you. So if you're like, oh, I have, like, for example, I tend to base a lot of my stuff, funnily enough, on time. I found that just codes out for me. That just works. I have a Capricorn stellium, so like Father Time and I are BFFs. Like real time, not like the icky time matrix, like the real time, like Father Time. You know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm putting down. So, so I tend to base a lot of stuff on like time. How much, like, for example, my sessions used to be, based on time, right? I would base my spells. How did I price my spell work? My spell work was usually priced per, you have to look at your tools. So for each spell, I used a candle of a certain size, whether it was a figure candle or an Avena candle. Based on that, that's how I priced things. So for example, way back in the day when I used to do community spells, everyone got a mini jumbo candle around a centralized larger candle, right? And with a focused intent, and they were designed for a community situation, right? Things that would be, useful for a community-based project, basically, right? Yes, darling, I love you too. Michael's taking me outside right now. She's like, I gotta pee. But I'm gonna keep yapping. So I would base things on,
Not right now. She's not. It's raining.
Oh, yeah, I thought you knew that.
No, I did not.
Oh, he's back. It's raining. So, yeah, it's raining, honey. So I would base, for my community spells, they were these mini jumbo candles those were the candles that I used for like flanking candles in my regular spells and stuff. So I just kind of came up with a price that was a portion of my spell price. My spells at this moment in time were running like, I think they were, I want to say we were in the like 75 to 200-ish range. And my community spells were $33 each. And then I had a larger spell, like group spell option that was $66 each. But then a couple of years later, I shifted how I was doing my group spells, and I discontinued community spells, and I made my group spells my most popular private spells. So the spells that were the most popular and had been the most popular for years at this point with my private clients, those were the spells that I tuned into as offering for my group spells, and my group spells became full-size spells that would still work for that group concept, right? Like the Crown of Success and what was that one? It was the Crown of Success and something else. I can't remember what it was. But I would pick spells that went well together, and then people would get like a discounted price on that. So if two spells, so for example, little pricing breakdown. At this moment in time, I remember most of these spells were between $90 and $120 that I picked for this offer. I would offer two of those spells at $144, for example. So combined, if somebody had bought them together, it would have been $180. And for this group spell offer that was only available for a short period of time, they could get $40 off of that price if they wanted it cast right then. And if not, they could always just get that spell later at full price. It was just like, if this is something in alignment for you right now, then you can get it at this price. And if not, then not. And it was like, no big deal. And so they were getting a deal. They were getting something cast right then. At this point in time, my waiting list was also like 3 to 5 weeks. So you could literally be like, ooh, she's doing a prosperity spell tonight, and I can get in tonight. You know what I mean? And people would buy, right? So that was part of it too, was I carved out some time where I could do something additional. And I was able to offer that. So then I just offered that at a slight discount than what you would pay full price, right? But it was also being cast with everybody else, and there was only so much customization that, it was customized to you, but it was not, it wasn't private spell work. There was a difference. Like I said, it was meant to be cast in that group setting. So there was already a value anchor though, my spells averaged on, average this price or, to this price. And so I was able to go in and create an offer that was like, here's a deal. Here's a new client acquisition point. Here's a way for people to come in, get some spell work when they don't want to wait, get some spell work when they're brand new to working with me and they just want to try it out. They don't want to have a reading yet. Maybe they don't want a reading. They're just wanting a prosperity spell or a blockbuster or something like that, right? And then I had an actual value assigned to each of those spells and each of those offers. So when I was combining them, I was able to create a really no-brainer offer that, group spells that year turned into, I made $54,000 from group spells just that year. That was my lowest income stream. And that was almost $20,000 more than I had made out in the corporate world. Right? That was my lowest income stream was, almost 20K more than I had made working in the Matrix that year. So that's a little interdimensional economics training for you. You do not want to drastically undervalue what you're offering. If you're so we started looking at stuff. So let me kind of finish the connection here, right? We started looking at stuff, and I started looking at, the memberships and Witchery U and everything. And I was like, the values are off. This is not this is a coding error because, for example, like we looked at the Ascended Frequencies membership and it currently has $28,000 worth of content in it for $44 a month. That is not an appropriate balance in interdimensional economics. Maybe in the Matrix that might have worked, but when you're a multidimensional baddie, your shit's got to code out to actually being balanced. Or Anubis is going to be pissed. So now every time I want you, when you're thinking about your pricing, rather than thinking, is this too expensive? Are people going to judge me? Are people going to, nobody's going to pay this. Nobody has this amount of money in a recession. Instead of thinking any of that bullshit or anything that could possibly, who am I to charge this much money? Any of that shit, right? What I want you to think about is, when Anubis comes to weigh this offer, is it going to be lighter than a feather? And if the answer's not yes, then we gotta reevaluate, make a little pivot, and test again. Because if people are accessing on average $2,300 a month of your content, and you're getting paid a fraction of that, and your subconscious knows that, but is actually not okay with that, you're not gonna sell any. You're going to block yourself. And then you're going to think nobody wants what you're offering. And actually, your higher self, your subconscious is blocking your ass like, I don't think so, homie. You know how much content's in here? You're not going to do this to me. No. 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 Right? So there's your interdimensional economics tidbit for the day. Make sure that your stuff is equaling out. If you've got 100 trainings in something and you would sell each of those trainings for $22, then you've got a library of content worth $2,200, right? So your price, if you're charging $44 for access to this library that has $2,200 of content in that, you need to make sure that that is in alignment for you. And if it's not, you need to adjust your pricing, or you need to adjust what you're offering in this space. That's your only two options. Or you can just do nothing and think that you can just like market it harder and it'll finally sell. Good luck with that one. When you're ready to act like a multidimensional baddie, come back to the first two, okay? I'm sorry. I'm done talking to people like they're kids. I ain't your mama, okay? I'm not here to like be your mom, okay? You know what I mean? Like, I know I can have very Mama Rose energy sometimes, but I'm also going to sit your ass down and be like, honey, we being a little dum-dum right now, and let's be a little cute instead, okay? Somewhere in space and time, I'm known as the wielder of the golden chancla. It's just a sandal, but, you know, it's where we were at that moment in time. So you had to be there. Anyways, so if you know, you know. I mean, I'm from Texas, and I have a habit of wearing golden sandals. I don't know what to tell you. If you know, you know. Anyway, so that's what I need in my life right now. I got to chug this cappuccino. Hold on. I need some golden sandals in my life. This is my biggest issue. I have no golden sandals. All I have is boots and house shoes.
They don't even have fur.
They don't even have fur.
This is a problem.
Hold on. I see why my dad used to take the lid off of his hot coffee once it had kind of cooled down. But he also would do it when, like, he probably still does it, to tell you the truth. I just haven't seen the man drink a latte in a minute. Random text from me. Last week I texted him that I had a spiritual need for some leopard print stair runners. Wait, I forgot what I was going to... Oh, this week. Do you still chug your lattes at like 120 degrees? Or did you stop doing that? I need to know. Inquiring minds need to know.
This is musical.
No, he's chugged lattes my whole life. There's no way he's quit. No way. You are who you are across space and time. You always chug a latte. That's really good, though. I mean, like, you just gotta hear. It's not at 120 degrees. It's like lukewarm now. But like, just give that a little bit of like a, ooh. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
The lid really restricts your ability to have the cappuccino flow. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Cappuccino flow.
Ooh, hold on. Did I just come up with the new Ascended Frequencies track name, Cappuccino Flow? I think I did, people. Can we get the Cappuccino Flow frequency? No, I've got it. Get your notebook. Write it down. Come on. What are you doing? I mean, there's a notebook right next to you. Just pick it up. I'm helping Michael develop, if not a love for writing, at least we're transmuting his deep loathing for it. And do you know why people have a loathing for their own handwriting? It's because it's like a code and it's reflecting things back to you that you don't want to see. Meanwhile, I adore my handwriting. I write like it's like 1532. And I worked really hard on my handwriting. I literally spent 2 years perfecting the art of my handwriting when I was a child because I'm a nerd. And I was like, I'm going to write precisely how I want to. And that's also how I've curated my life, my frequency, and my reality. I just actually didn't like my handwriting when it started. I was like, this isn't pretty. And so I decided to fix that.
Well,
so anyways.
It's the beginning start of your entire life when you think about it is your handwriting.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't like your handwriting, I mean, that's sad. How are you ever going to write your story?
Yeah.
If you don't like your handwriting, how are you ever going to write your story? If you don't like your frequency, how are you ever going to find resonance? You know? So anyways, let's get this. I forgot what we were getting, but I've got the numbers.
Flow.
Oh, yeah, the cappuccino flow frequency. It's 8572 9915 427. It always makes me giggle when they give me like these super high frequencies and then it's like 427. Like, okay. I don't know. I just work here. That's actually how all of this started. Like, I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm just doing it really well. Okay. I just started getting a lot of information. I mean, I've channeled a lot, you know, I get a lot of messages. And then I was like, this is interesting. What's going on here? And I've been trying to figure out what's going on here ever since, to be honest. You seemed like you had a question. He was like holding his like notebook and pen. Like he had like, are you like raising your hand? Do you have a question for the class? Would you like to share for the class?
I would if I had something to share. I actually don't.
Anyways, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I just wanted to make sure.
Good.
So anyways, happy Monday.
Happy Moon Day.
I was thinking that. It is Moon Day. The moon is in Virgo at the moment, which is broadcasting the Aldebaranian frequencies. It's also a portal. You know, I'm actually picking up a pattern here. Hold on. Do I work with any frequency ranges that are not portal ranges? Hold on, I need to hit the bong about this. Wait, I think I've just picked up the pattern. I think that's actually it. I think that's the pattern. Because think about it, right? Arcturus has portals. Avian/angelic realm, portals. Andromeda, portals. Sirius, portals. Rigel, portals. Pleiades, portals. Orion, portals. Cygnus and Deneb, portals. Hydra, portals. Aldebaran, portals. Lyra, portals. Antares, portals. Pegasus, portals. That one time I was channeling Polaris when we were doing the Polarian shift. Polaris, portals. There are other places with magic also that aren't as developed of frequencies, I guess you could say. And there are additional ranges that just didn't want that much known about them. You know, I mean, like, you might know somebody, but they might not want to be on your Instagram story that 5,000 people are going to see. You know, like, they want to hang out with you, but they don't want to be seen by all those people, right? There are many frequency ranges that we just haven't really started to tap into yet, obviously. it's like we're working on restoring power to the local area, and then we're gonna, like, for example, if you don't know, we live in the mountains of North Carolina. So when Helene hit, we didn't have power for 3 days, which was infinitely much better than many people experienced, or I guess not really better. That's like a polarity that I don't really want to anchor into the world. It was just a much easier experience, I think, than a lot of people had. But we live right next to a power grid. Like right out the back door is the power grid. So we knew that we were going to be one of the first locations to receive restoration of our power when the storm hit, because of our proximity to the power grid. And we were one of the first locations to get power back online. And then it went out from there as they were turning on different parts of the local area for this grid. And then that also happened with like the grid next door and the grid next door and the grid next door. So it was really interesting having that experience. And we were perfectly fine basically for the entire experience, other than just not having power for a few days. And so just kind of like having the experience without having, so much of the things that other people experienced, and simultaneously hearing so much, because one of our neighbors is, does like search and rescue and canine work and stuff. So he had a lot of information about how things were working and what was going on and stuff. And so experiencing those grids coming back on in that way, it reminds me very much of what we're experiencing right now with like multidimensional connection coming back on. It's like after a big storm, sometimes it takes a minute to get stuff back online, and then that happens in sectors. Which is also interesting because Sector 87 has come up a lot in my Orionid grids that I've drawn. So it's got to be connected to, I'm going to assume, portals. Some of the drains too. So with that link, if we've got drains, that would speak to alchemical frequencies. So would that link to Antares? When I was a little girl, well, I think I was 12. But when I was younger, my parents used to take me to a restaurant called Antares for my birthday. And it was in the bowl in the Hyatt Regency in downtown Dallas. It was fabulous. It was so cool. And I always felt like that was a big ol' sign. Also, fun fact, did you know that I have a star named after me? There's actually a star out there that has my name. And I think that's pretty fabulous. Yeah.
How many people do?
I'm going to get a star named after Harvest Rose. Yeah. A star named Harvest Rose Witchery. Then I'm going to get another one. We'll name it Witchery You.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to have another star named Multidimensional Baddie. And obviously we have to get a star named Mira. Yeah. We'll get a star named Michael too. We'll get a star named Ascended Frequencies. Everybody buy your brand and business words a star. Fuck a trademark. Have you bought a star? Yes! Oh, see, it's like, who cares about Earth? We're celestials, bitch. But do you have a star?
If you have a star, we don't play just here. We play everywhere.
If you don't have a star on a multidimensional level, I can't converse with you because it's not going to be aligned or in resonance. So best wishes. Oh, he's been chugging these fraps over here, and I have not had but one sip.
I know, that's all the rest is for you.
No, it's fine. I was on my cappuccino. No, you don't have to apologize in the least. I just wanted the leftover bits of the fraps today, to be honest. I was on my matcha latte and my French vanilla cappuccino. But I will have leftover frap bits. I just forgot they were there. Ooh, that's the strawberry. We've been getting strawberry white mocha and blackberry white mocha. one of the owners of the coffee shop that we go to recommended both. And she was so right. She's amazing with flavors.
Yeah.
The pistachio one was funky, though, not gonna lie. I did not like that pistachio flavoring, but I don't know that she came up with that one. To be fair, I don't know. I liked the idea. If it had been like, it was the flavor. I didn't like that pistachio syrup that they had for a second. It was like the only syrup I think they've ever had that I was like, bleh. I didn't like that. It had, for the first 2 minutes while it was very cold, it was delightful.
Yep.
And then it got the least tiny bit warm, and it tasted like Play-Doh smelled when I was a child. When you'd open the Play-Doh container and you'd get hit in the face with the Play-Doh smell. That's what it tastes, but it's like it tasted like that. And I was like, this is the weirdest thing ever. But your taste and your smell is connected. Everything's connected.
I was gonna say, is that what it tastes like when pistachio spoils?
I think it might be. I'm not sure. I don't know. It was definitely not spoiled, but it did taste funky. It was weird. I didn't like it. That was the only drink they've ever made that I didn't like, except for the one time that I swear there was accidentally mint in there and it didn't go.
Yeah.
But it's no big deal.
Nah.
Sometimes it's just, that was a weird day though. And it was weirder too, because before we went, I was like, they never mess up a drink. They never mess up a drink, right? Ever. And before we went, I got a psychic ping, like, one of the drinks is going to be weird for the first time ever. But I knew that it was an indicator that something else was happening. So when the drink was weird, I was just like, oh, there it is. This poor barista, though, she was like, she thought I was crazy, but I was like, there's mint in here.
And it was very prevalent.
It was like drinking straight toothpaste. So I feel like the mint was a message as well, but whatever. I'm into it. It's fine.
Yeah.
It was funny too, because like Michael was trying to drink it, and then I think we just threw it away.
Yeah.
It's funny.
It's a lot of flavors mixed with mint.
Yeah, I think it was like a rose, vanilla, lavender, honey, peach tea with mint. And but like with like a ton of mint. And it was like, what? They were really busy that day. And I think what happened is, I think somebody else had a mint order. And I think I think like somebody had started putting, maybe they had put like a shot or two of syrup in a cup. And I think somebody else just picked up the cup, not realizing that it had anything in it. And that's what happened.
Yeah.
Oh, I still can't look at mint though. It's a lot of mint. And it was shocking when it was like surprise mint. When you have surprise mint, you know what I mean? It's like when you're expecting mint, you're like, ah, refreshing. When you're not expecting mint, you're like, ah! It was stunning. It was a stunning amount of mint.
To the taste buds.
It was stunning to everything. I don't know why I'm talking about mint so much. What does mint code back to? Well, my first thought was Aldebaran, and then I started thinking about mint tea. And you drink mint tea if you have an upset tummy. So if the Rigeli and energetic processing centers are cranky, they need some mint tea about it from Aldebaran. I don't know why that makes sense, but that makes sense. If the Rigeli and energetic processing centers are cranky, they need some mint tea from Aldebaran, which codes to the soul star chakra if you're on Earth.
So you're telling me that soul star chakra would taste like mint tea?
And would positively impact the solar plexus chakra?
Yeah, because you're empowering who you are.
Via your connection to the multidimensional realms.
Yes.
Wow, I wish we worked better together.
Twinning.
Fist bump it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 5. Time's been very weird today. It's...
Indeed.
I just got a weird wave. bong about it. I was trying to think if there was anything I wanted to add before we brought this party to a close for today. My goodness. I know.
Yeah.
They were just rolling down the mountain and making noise. Wow.
So rude.
They were saying some things.
Is that really high frequencies for your ears too, Mira?
Anyways, so oh, she just looked at me and then she just like rolled her head around the couch for a second and pawed at her face and then laid her head down and looked at me again. Oh, yes, that's right. A+ for dramatic effect as well.
Sure.
Amazing. Struck a pose and everything. Well,
I think that's it.
I think that's about it. For me, we have been going for 1 hour and 15, so I mean, it's time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know what else. To be honest, so for that, we're gonna go ahead and head on into the next vibe.
We'll see you in the next vibe.
We'll see you in the next vibe. We watch these mining videos by Amazing PA, and at the end of every video, he says, "See you in the next hole." We'll see you in the next hole. Phil's fabulous. So, yeah. So, we have to, every time we can, we're taking it back. Take it back. Alrighty, anyways, I don't know. I don't have a good exit. I don't have a good exit for this one. So anyways, happy 5/5. Don't forget to be a multidimensional baddie today. And we'll talk to you very soon.